And I'm joined now by the independent member for the Tasmanian seat of Denison, Andrew Wilkie. Welcome.
Good evening, Chris.
Now, this matter's been referred to the Privileges Committee. Is that a good outcome?
Chris, before we drill down into the detail, can I just make something absolutely clear? Although I think this whole Craig Thompson saga stinks, he must be treated in accordance with the principles of natural justice. He is innocent until proven guilty in a properly constituted court where he has had the opportunity to defend himself. He must be treated in accordance with the Constitution. He is eligible to sit in the Parliament until and unless he's found guilty of an offence punishable by more than 1 year. So, look, my overarching position here is we should let the process run its course. And we will know the truth in due course.
Well, why weren't you happy for that to happen with Peter Slipper?
Well, no, but he was a holder of high office, and all I said with Peter Slipper is that he should step out of that chair, just as a CEO would of a large corporation or a minister in a government would. I'm not asking that he be booted out of the Parliament. I'm saying Peter Slipper should. Well, no, he's a member of the Parliament. In fact, he's still filling some of the roles of the Speaker. The issue with Craig Thompson is the opposition want him booted out of the Parliament, and I think they're not according him natural justice, and they're not according him in accordance with the rules as laid out in the Constitution.
What about a censure, though? You did indicate that you might support that.
Look, earlier today, when Rob Oakeshott produced his censure, I indicated that I was likely to support that. However, I have, since this afternoon, just mid-afternoon, had the opportunity to take senior legal advice, and I'm now of the view that I shouldn't support that censure. And
why is that?
Well, the advice I've received is that that would not be to accord Craig Thompson his proper rights in law. I accept that advice. Look, make no mistakes.
It's simply a matter of the Parliament saying that doesn't accept a certain standard of behaviour. He doesn't get booted out of the House. Nothing essentially happens to the man.
No, but a censure is still an important thing, and we shouldn't treat it lightly. And regrettably, part of the censure is to criticise Craig Thompson for not cooperating with the Fair Work Australia. The advice I've received from a senior legal person late this afternoon, is that he may well have been acting within his rights by not cooperating with Fair Work Australia.
All right, just one last thing on this. Don't you think the public might find it more than passing strange that one of the people who got to rule on this today was Peter Slipper, although he wasn't sitting in the Speaker's chair?
Yes, the public would find that very strange, but can I pick up on a point earlier in the program, Chris? The soundings I'm taking out in the community suggest that many people are really just sick to death of this whole thing, and they would like the government to get on and do its best at governing the country competently, and they'd like the opposition to get on and establish themselves as a credible alternative government.
All right, now on another matter, when the government tore up your written agreement on poker machine reform earlier this year, you said that what they offered as an alternative wasn't meaningful reform, and yet today you signed up to it. What's changed?
Well, I think we all know the history of this, and of course the Prime Minister agreed to what would have been meaningful reform after the 2010 election, but walked away from that in January. At the time, she revealed what I'll call a watered-down package of reforms. On that day, I actually indicated I was likely to support it because something was better than nothing. But when I saw the exposure draft, I saw that, in fact, it did not reflect what the Prime Minister said in her public statement on the 21st of January. So I've been working with Minister Jenny Macklin to have amendments made to that bill so that it now does reflect what the Prime Minister said on the 21st of January. And I'm now satisfied that the bill it's imperfect, it's only a shadow of what might have been, but it is better than nothing. It's the best thing on the table, so I will support the bill.
Can you name one thing in this that is likely to be coming into force in the time that this government would be in power, and that's leaving aside the fact that it's likely to be rejected in the Senate? Poker machines must be capable of supporting pre-committed technology, it says, from 2013, state-linked programs by 2016, electronic warnings by 2016, ATM changes by 2013. Almost none of those things will be in power before the next election, will they?
Chris, I'd like to have solved this yesterday, and the 95,000 Australian problem gamblers on pokies, I'm sure, wish this was solved yesterday as well. But the fact is, when you're rolling out a new fleet of machines and retrofitting other machines, a total of 200,000 machines, and it involves a trial before it's fully in place, the regrettable fact is it will take years to do. Regrettably, governments years ago didn't think to do this, and we'd have the solution now. I am satisfied this is as quick as it can humanly be done.
And the ACT trial that you're talking about won't start in February as planned, will it?
I expect it might slip a couple of months, but one of the key amendments I negotiated with the government in their bill is that the trial is now going to be in the bill. It will be legislated. Now, that's a significant improvement on the original bill, Chris, because now aspects such as only independent organisations will be involved,
briefly,
and data from New South Wales must be included.
The Commonwealth can't force ACT clubs to participate. It will be voluntary. Only the ACT government can make ACT clubs participate.
Well, my understanding is that the federal government has been in talks with Clubs ACT, and that it is likely the trial will go ahead. Look, Chris, this is imperfect, and I'm not going to sit here and sing the praises of the government's reform and argue a strong defence for it. Frankly, I'm supporting it reluctantly because it's the best I could negotiate. And frankly, I'm not going to be the person that stands in the way of something that ultimately is better than nothing.
Andrew Wilkie, thank you.
Thanks, Chris.